Good morning, ham friends and shortwave listeners. I am P. Tyagarajan, handle Tyagu, and my call sign is VU2PTR. My QTH is Chennai. I worked in petrochemical industry over 4 decades, looking after plant maintenance, project management, and implementation. I was heading a joint venture multinational company as managing director prior to my retirement. I received my call sign in the year 1981. I had a passion for electronics right from my school days. I used to assemble radios, amplifiers, and electronic projects. During the year 1980, I came to know about ham radio and started attending classes and received my ham license. As electronics was my hobby, I homebrewed my tube version transmitter and came on air with a BC receiver. I am a keen homebrewer. I have homebrewed many ham related gadgets like keyer, SWR meter, LC meter, power supplies, HF power amplifiers, programmers, counters, dummy load, and so on. I have designed a 40-meter trans receiver using minimum components and coils. I am QRV on HF, VHF, UHF, and Ecolink. Today I am going to present one of my homebrewed gadgets, the LC meter, which operates on resonant frequency principle during this tech talk. A LC meter will be very useful for checking the values of capacitors and measuring inductance while winding coils, band pass filters, low pass filters, etc. I propose to deal with circuit explanation, construction, testing, and operation details. In the market, different types of LC meters are available based on different working principles. First one is the bridge method. In a bridge like Wheatstone's bridge, when no current flows through the detector, that is at null point, the value of impedance can be obtained by the relationship of the other bridge elements. The second one is the resonant frequency method. When a circuit is adjusted to resonance by adjusting a capacitor, the unknown impedance Lx and Rx values can be obtained from the test frequency, capacitor value, and Q value. The third one is the IV method or ampere volt method. The unknown impedance can be calculated from measured voltage and current values in this method. The fourth one is the network analysis method. The reflection coefficient is obtained by measuring the ratio of an incident signal to the reflected signal. A bridge can be used to detect the reflected signal, and a network analyzer is used to supply and measure the signals. Today we are going to discuss about the resonant type of, that is oscillator type of LC meter. The specifications of the LC meter are as follows. The measuring range is 0 to 0.1 microfarad for capacitance measurement. For the inductance measurement, the range is 0 to 10 millihenry. The expected accuracy is plus or minus of the reading. The minimum is plus or minus 0.1 pf or plus or minus 10 nanohenry. In this slide, I have displayed different types of capacitors. This is a disc capacitor. This is a tantalum capacitor. This is a silver mica capacitor. This is a styroflux capacitor. These are all polyester capacitors of different values and different voltages. This is a high voltage capacitor. This is an electrolytic capacitor. Normally in electrolytic capacitors, the value of the capacitor and the working voltage will be displayed. Even in other capacitors, it will be there. Using the LC meter, other than the electrolytic capacitor and tantalum capacitor, all other capacitors values can be measured. In this slide, I have shown the various types of inductors. This is a high value inductor like RFC, radio frequency choke. These are all small inductors which can be used in printed circuit boards. Directly it can be soldered to the printed circuit board. This is also an inductor extensively used in televisions. This is again an inductor. Just like a resistor, it is having a color code. From the color code, we can find out the value of the inductance. This one is also an inductor, but it can handle little higher current. Normally, the inductors will not handle higher current. In this case, it can handle higher current. So using the LC meter, all these inductor values can be measured. Now this is the external view of the LC meter. It is designed just like a multimeter, and there is a socket where the capacitor or inductor can be inserted so that the value can be measured digitally in digital value. Now, if you look at the components which are required for homebrewing this LC meter, the first one is the 16:1 LCD display, single line display. Then we require one number PIC IC. In this project, it is PIC 16F84, and also we require LM311 IC, which is a comparator IC. We require a 5 volts relay PCB type. We require 4 MHz crystal. Different types of switches, capacitors, resistors, diodes, and inductor. Also, we require the PCB, cabinet, hardware, and a 9-volt battery for internal operation of the LC meter. This is the circuit of the LC meter. Actually, we can divide this into 3 parts. One is the counter, this portion. The PIC IC and the display, we can consider it as a frequency counter. Then we have LM311, the inductor capacitors, as the oscillator circuit. And this is the power supply section. Now let us start from the power supply. There are 2 sources. One is a 9-volt internal battery, and this is an external DC voltage. Both are fed through 2 diodes, and it goes to the power switch. From the external DC, a lead is taken through a 100 ohms 5 watts for the back illumination for the LCD display. If it is a 16 pin type LCD display, we can also have the backlit arrangement. Now once we switch on the power, the voltage comes to the regulator 7805. We have the decoupling capacitors, and 5 volts is fed to the IC and the entire circuit. So this is the power supply unit. This resistor is connected directly from the external source to reduce the drain of the battery. Purposely it has been done. So when we use with internal battery, the backlit will not work. Only with external power, the backlit LCD will glow. Now coming to this part, LM311, a comparator IC, is used as an oscillator with a positive feedback. And also we have a fixed inductor and a fixed capacitor. With this internal inductor and capacitor, this comparator oscillates at a particular frequency. This frequency is fed to pin number 3 of the IC. And also we have one more capacitor known as C-cal. C-cal. This capacitor is cut into the circuit through a relay contact. This is a relay. This is the 5 volts relay which is operated by the IC or by an external zero switch. Initially, when we wanted to measure inductance or capacitance, once we power on the gadget, we are supposed to press the zero push button. Once we push the zero push button, the transistor will go to the on state and it will energize the relay. Once the relay energizes, the contact will close and the C-cal 1000 PF will be connected in parallel to the 1000 PF already available there. So now, before connecting any component in the test lead, the oscillator will run at a particular frequency, say F1. And when we press the zero switch, the relay energizes and this C-cal 1000 PF will be connected in parallel to the 1000 PF. So immediately the frequency will change, which is taken as F2. The difference between F2 and F1 frequency will be taken as 100 PF. 100 PF. That information will be fed to the PIC and that will be taken as the reference of measurement. So it is very, very important that this C-cal capacitor is of very high accuracy. It should be better than 0.5%. I have used a Steroflex capacitor for this application. Silver mica is also very good for this C-cal, which has very high stability and high accuracy. Now, there is a diode IN914 which is connected across the coil, which is for quenching the back EMF. When the relay energizes and de-energizes, some back EMF is produced. This diode will quench the back EMF. There is a 4 MHz crystal, which, like any frequency counter, it generates it forms the oscillator for the PIC. So this is the general circuit. Now we will see how the circuit performs while measuring the external unknown capacitor or inductance. Now the switch is in the C calibration, C measurement mode. That is, the top two are connected, and once the switch is moved to the bottom position, it will be for inductance measurement. Now once we switch on and press the zero button, the oscillator will function, 2 frequencies will be produced, and immediately the difference of frequency will be taken as the 100 PF value and it will be fed to the IC. Now when we connect an external capacitor, this external capacitor will come in parallel. It will be connected in parallel to the inductance and the capacitance already on board. So this will immediately reduce the frequency from the original value. That information will be fed to the PIC IC. The PIC IC will process the change in the frequency and give the output to the display, and it will indicate the capacitance value with the units of measurement. So this is the operation for capacitance. Now when we change the position from C to L, these two contacts will change over. And when we connect an inductor, what happens is the inductor will be connected in parallel to the L and C which are on board on the PCB. So again, like the capacitor, it will also reduce the frequency. The change in frequency is fed to the PIC and it does the processing and displays the inductance value. In this circuit, there are some test points, LK1, LK2, and also there is a link, LK3. LK1, when we short these 2 points, immediately the internal oscillator frequency will be displayed on the LCD, internal oscillator display. It should be 550 kilohertz. If it is more than 650 kilohertz, then it will go to out of range. So 550 kilohertz is the recommended value. In case it is high, the accuracy also will be poor, and we may have to adjust the value of the C and the L so that the oscillator frequency is within 550 kilohertz. Now there is another test point, LK2. When we short this LK2, immediately the transistor will be switched on and it will trigger the relay. It will energize the relay. One thing is we can find out whether the relay is operating. So the noise can be heard. And also when this is energized without any component in the test terminals, it will show the value of the cal capacitor. We have connected 1000 PF, so this capacitance value will be displayed on the LCD. So this is the explanation for the circuit, and now we will pass on to the next slide. Now when we measure inductance, the display will be something like this. L is equal to 0.95 microhenry. Here 1 microhenry has been connected, and you will see it is showing 0.95. Now this is the display of capacitor. When we measure capacitor, it will show 10.1 picofarad. Here a disk capacitor of 10 PF is connected, and it is showing 10.1 PF. Now if you have to assemble the LC meter, we require the PCB. This whole project can be assembled within about 2 to 3 hours, provided the PCB, cabinet and all components are available. This is the blank PCB designed by me. Here we have the connections for the 16 pin for the display. This is for the relay. This is for the PIC IC, LM311 IC, the switch, regulator and all other components. Now this is the view of the populated PCB. All the components have been soldered. Now we will see the push button, relay, the IC bases, regulator, diodes, blocking diodes, the cal and the other capacitor, and also the inductor, 82 microhenry onboard inductor. And this is the transistor which is responsible for triggering the relay, and this is a 10K preset meant for adjusting the contrast of the display. So by adjusting this, we can increase the contrast or reduce the contrast. So these are the components required. The 100 ohms 5 watts resistor, dropping resistor is here. It supplies power to the backlit LED. Now there are different functional switches in the LC meter. By a video, I would like to show the functional switches. Now let us go to the video clipping.
Now let me explain the various switches and provisions given in the LC meter. This is the top view, this is the left hand side view, and this is the right hand side view. The left hand side view, there is a slide switch for powering the LC meter. If we push it to the top, it will be on. If we push it to the bottom, it will be off, power off. This will be only cutting off the internal battery. If we feed external power supply, the backlit LED will glow, but the circuit will not function. Also, there are blocking diodes which prevents mixing of the voltages, battery to the external source and external source to the battery. And there is a push switch. This push switch, once it is in pressed condition, it is inductance measurement, and when it is outside it is capacitance measurement. So just by a press we can select inductance or capacitance. Then there is a socket here, it is spring loaded socket. We can fix any capacitor or inductor in these sockets. So once we press, it will open out, we can insert the component, and once we leave it, since it is spring loaded, it will hold it very tight. Now here there is a zero switch. This is required for initial operation, making the reading zero. Once we switch on, it is always advisable to press the zero once, so that the internal calibration circuit will function and it will make it zero. Then there is a L short. This is equivalent to shorting these two terminals. It is useful only for inductance measurement. Then on the other side, we have only one socket to feed external 9 volts. This voltage can go up to maximum 12 volts.
Now, having seen the functional switches, let us have a look at the internal arrangement after wiring.
Now I am going to open out the top cover and let us see the internal arrangement of the LC meter. The top is removed. So we have the battery, the PCB, the display, LCD display, everything here. So it is totally wired. This battery is giving the internal power supply, and this is the switch for L and C selection. And we have internal regulator, relay, ICs, everything is there. So this is the internal arrangement of the LC meter.
Now we will see the adjustments and the test points. Already I explained about the test points. The only adjustment in the LC meter is the contrast adjustment. There is no other calibration adjustment within the LC meter, as it is having an auto calibration facility. Now let us look at the video.
Now we will see some of the internal adjustments and test points. There are no calibration adjustment inside. There is only one 10K pot which adjusts the contrast. We can increase or decrease the contrast. So now if we see, it is becoming darker and lighter. So let us leave it at this point. There are three shorting points, test points. LK3 is permanently shorted to have the proper display. LK1, if we short, it will show the internal oscillator frequency. I am shorting the LK1. So it is showing 57352. The oscillator frequency should be 550 kilohertz and above. So now this is showing the exact value. If it is above 650, then it will show over range. We may have to adjust the capacitor and inductor value in the PCB. Now there is one more showing as LK2. This, once we short, it will show the operation of the relay, and also it will show the value of the internal standard capacitor. Now I am shorting LK2. It is showing 1000 PF exactly, and also the sound of the internal relay, calibration relay, can be heard.
Now we have seen the test points, and also we had the internal view. Now we will see as a test equipment how to measure the capacitance. Prior to measurement, always it is recommended to fold the leads on both sides so that it will sit in the socket, and then we can switch on the LC meter and adjust, press the 0 and then insert the capacitance. Now we will go to the video clipping.
Now let us see how to check the value of a unknown capacitor. I am having a disk capacitor of some value. So I am going to measure the value of the disk capacitor. Already the external power is given. So I am switching on the gadget. It is showing C is equal to 00 PF. Anyway, I am pressing the 0 button once and leaving it. It is going to the auto calibration mode and it is showing C is equal to 00 PF. Now I am going to insert the capacitor in the socket. Yes, it is showing 98 PF. Actually the disk capacitor value is 100 PF. It is showing 98 PF, which is within plus or minus 10% tolerance.
Having seen the capacitance measurement, let us go to inductance measurement. This is a little different. For capacitance, we have to only press the 0 once, but for inductance, adjusting 0 is little different. Let us see the video.
Now I am going to check the value of an inductor. I don't know what is the value. Now let us see how to proceed step by step. Already the external power is connected to the LC meter. I am switching on. It is in the inductance measuring mode. Already this side switch is in pressed condition, so it is in inductance measuring mode. If we release this switch, it will go to the capacitance measuring mode. This is the capacitance measuring, so I am pressing the switch, so it is in the inductance calibration mode. First step is to press the L short. So we have to keep this pressed firmly and then press the 0 button once. It is showing 00 microhenry. Then I am leaving it. Now I am going to insert the inductor in the socket. Now it is showing L is equal to 1.652 millihenry. In this LC meter, the units are also indicated. Now it is in the millihenries.
Now let us look at the comparison table. In the opening remark, I discussed about various types of LC meters available in the market. The bridge method, resonant method, IV method, network analysis method and all. If we see the bridge method, the advantage is it is very highly accurate, 0.1% typical. And also it has got a wide frequency coverage. And this is actually the disadvantages needs to be manually balanced every time, and also narrow frequency coverage. So this is the disadvantage. Resonant method, it is good and having optimal accuracy, which is quite good for our application, ham radio application. But the disadvantages needs to be tuned to resonance. Low impedance measurement accuracy is low. Now if we look at the IV method, it is suitable for prototype test needs, and also the operating frequency range is very limited. RFIV, it is the modified version of this. Then we go to the network analysis method. It has got a wide frequency coverage from low frequency to RF, good accuracy, and it is having narrow impedance measurement. Now, to conclude, let me summarize the merits and demerits in comparison with other types, the LC meter, resonant oscillator type LC meter. Number one is the simple in construction. Very simple. As you would have seen, the PCB and the components to be soldered, it can be assembled in about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours. It is not at all complex and inexpensive as the number of components and other things are involved, the cost is very, very low. And also it is quite stable. When I showed the video, you would have seen the display quite stable, not jumping. It is accurate and reliable. The only limitation on this resonant type LC meter is the range. We cannot have a wide range. That is the only disadvantage. I thank all of you for your kind attention and also listening to the presentation. I hope everybody would have understood. And I like to thank OM Vilas V2 Victor Papa Romeo for the opportunity given to me for this tech talk. And also I like to thank OM Magesh Patil P3 Oscar Uniform Mike, who has helped me for recording and other guidance. Thank you all.